Can the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold at quarterback? Sitting at 8-2, just one game behind the Detroit Lions, it's the question that everybody has. Let's talk about it. It's no secret that the Minnesota Vikings have struggled so far this year at times on offense, and some of that has to do with quarterback Sam Darnold. He's been a little bit inconsistent over the course of the season and arguably had his worst game against the Jacksonville Jaguars with nearly 5 interceptions, 3 of them official, and a negative 77% DVOA, meaning he was 77% worse than the average quarterback. Now, everybody knew that this was going to be a kind of a rebound season for the Minnesota Vikings, a reload with JJ McCarthy hopefully taking over this year and for sure next season. That changed completely in the beginning of August when McCarthy tore his meniscus against the Las Vegas Raiders and even had to have a second procedure is how they framed it, but it seems to have been an arthroscopic scope just over a week ago. Now, if you want to find out more about that, we did our last video on that exact topic. You're not going to want to miss it. Let's talk about Darnold, though. Against the Tennessee Titans, he proved why the Minnesota Vikings wanted to give him $10 million, why the Minnesota Vikings thought they could really have that competitive rebuild in full effect with Darnold. And I think that's really important because when you have the Minnesota Vikings and you believe that you can continue to win with this roster, when you continue to win with guys like Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw, who is unfortunately now hurt, Brian O'Neill, and bring in talents like Aaron Jones. You just drafted Jordan Addison. You completely revamped the defense for Brian Flores. Okay, we have the guys. We believe we can win. We believe that we can be that team that surprises everybody. And guess what? They are now 8-2, and they've surpassed every single sportsbook win total. Everyone. So, when you take a look at it, why can't the Minnesota Vikings win the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold? Well, one of the big reasons why people don't believe in him yet is because there's been inconsistencies. Even in games where he's been really good, he'll just disappear on one half. He was poor in the second half against the Green Bay Packers. He was poor in the first half against the Indianapolis Colts. And even against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he had those near 5 interceptions, he still had the Vikings moving the football. But it was his own mistakes that continued to pile up and continued to happen and continued to matter in the course of impacting the football game. Against the Tennessee Titans, guess what? None of it. Absolutely none of it. And it was great to see. This is how Sam Darnold needs to play football. No mistakes. 20 of 32, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns. Took 2 sacks, a passer rating of 107. I believe this is his 6th passer rating above 100 this year. There may even be more because he's been very solid and consistent for this football team. Now, when you take a look at how Darnold played, he was seeing things clearly. He was sensing pressure in the pocket. He was willing to stand in a murky pocket and deliver the football. That dagger route touchdown to Jordan Addison for 43 yards, murky pocket. He had to step up just slightly, fired that ball in there. Other plays, he sensed pressure, he bailed out, and he did not make forceful throws. He did not put the ball in danger. And I think that's the big thing. Every week, we had the same thing with Case Keenum in 2017. Every single week, Darnold would make a couple throws, be like, okay, that should have been picked. I can't believe it wasn't. Well, against the Jags, they took advantage. They did not let Darnold get away with those throws. He didn't make any in this game. Not a single one. Good quarterback play. Consistent quarterback play. For lack of a better term, safe quarterback play. This Minnesota Vikings team can win consistently if Darnold continues to play mistake-free football. Now, they couldn't run the ball. And we were going to be doing a lot of film study because they replaced Ed Ingram, who's been improving quite a bit over the past few weeks, with Dalton Reiser, who is not a good run blocker. How much did that have an impact, or how much of it was just this Titans defense is very good? We're going to find out in time. But the big thing here, Sam Darnold, mistake-free football, consistency, and his pocket management was the best I'd seen from him this year. If they get this Sam Darnold every week throughout the rest of the year, this Minnesota Vikings team is Super Bowl bound. They can beat. They've already proven that they can beat the Detroit Lions. They got beat by a last-second field goal. Now they have to actually go do it. Now they have to keep winning these games to get to the Super Bowl. But with this defense playing as well as it has, and Darnold figuring it out, how to play mistake-free football, it's a path that's open. It's a path they can take. and it's a path that actually feels realistic. I'm Tyler Forness with A to Z Sports. Skol Vikings.